The Great War. The dawn broke over the kingdom, pale and trembling under the shadow of the Black Clan. Smoke curled from villages along the outer walls, and the distant war drums pounded like the heartbeat of doom itself. Soldiers of fairies, elves, and dwarves lined the battlements, their faces pale but determined, gripping swords, axes, and bows. Mick stood at the front, crescent mark glowing faintly, his eyes scanning the horizon, where the Black Clan's army swarmed like a living shadow. The enemy surged forward, black-armored warriors, their eyes empty, yet burning with cruel light, moving as one, unstoppable, consuming all in their path. Arrows darkened the sky, spells crackled from hidden mages, and the ground shook under the pounding of war beasts. King Artheon's voice rang out, "Hold the lines, do not falter." But the first wave crashed against the kingdom like a relentless tide. Shields splintered, archers fell, and cries of pain echoed across the battlefield. Mick swung his blade, cutting through enemies, but for every one they struck down, two more took their place. Elves rained arrows from the trees, their silver feathers glinting like daggers of light. But the Black Clan's shadow seemed to absorb the brilliance. Dwarves charged with hammers raised, breaking through lines of enemies. But even their iron could not stop the unending swarm. And then, among the chaos, Clara appeared. Her eyes burned with determination, hair whipping in the wind as she moved with unmatched precision. Where Mick struck, she followed, cutting through enemy lines, guiding soldiers, and rallying faltering troops. Her presence lifted the morale of fairies, elves, and dwarves alike, a beacon of courage in the darkest hour. Mick's heart pounded, seeing Clara fight with unmatched skill. "We can't hold them," he shouted, dodging a swipe from a Black Clan warrior. Yet with Clara beside him, hope sparked anew. The Black Clan pressed forward, relentless, pushing the allied armies into a desperate retreat. Then a roar echoed across the battlefield, deep, unnatural, shaking the ground itself. The soldiers froze, eyes turning toward the sky. From the east, the first dragon descended, the fire dragon, scales burning like molten magma, blazing flames erupting from its mouth, scorching the Black Clan's ranks and sending shockwaves through the battlefield. Close behind, the ice dragon appeared, scales glistening like frozen crystal, wings cutting the air with a chilling frost that froze enemy weapons and slowed their advance. Soldiers stumbled as frost crept across the ground, turning chaos into disarray for the Black Clan. Next came the Wind Dragon, its vast wings whipping gusts strong enough to toss enemies into the air, scattering formations and disrupting the enemy's charge. Leaves, dust, and arrows swirled around it, adding confusion to the battlefield. Then, the Light Dragon descended, scales glowing like pure sunlight, radiating a brilliance that purified shadows wherever it touched. The Black Clan faltered under the blinding rays, their dark magic sizzled and weakened, unable to withstand the dragon's radiance. Finally, the Dark Dragon emerged, scales absorbing the light around it, eyes glowing ominously. Shadows poured from its maw, but it struck only the enemy, tearing through the Black Clan with lethal precision, forcing their generals into retreat. Mix dropped to one knee, awestruck. "The dragons, they're here," he whispered. Clara's eyes glimmered with determination, a mixture of relief and fierce defiance. The dragons divided the battlefield, each one claiming a sector, ripping through the Black Clan with unstoppable force. The fairies, elves, and dwarves rallied behind them, their courage renewed by the legendary creature's presence. Arrows and spells struck true now, as the dragon's elemental power guided every blow. King Artheon raised his sword, shouting, "For the kingdom, for our allies, for life itself. The Black Clan faltered, their cohesion crumbling under the assault. Mix and Clara led the charge through the enemy lines, striking at the heart of darkness. Around them, elves leapt from trees, firing enchanted arrows. Dwarves smashed hammers into armor, and the dragon's roars shook the battlefield like thunder. Hours passed in a blur of steel, elemental fury, and chaos. Slowly, the tide turned. The Black Clan, once an unstoppable shadow, began to retreat. Smoke and shadows still lingered, but the kingdom was alive, victorious, standing tall against darkness. Mix stood, breathing heavily, sword dripping with shadow-tainted blood. Clara knelt beside him, catching her breath, scanning the battlefield for surviving allies. Around them, fairies, elves, and dwarves cheered, though the cost of the battle was visible in every shattered shield, every scarred armor, every exhausted soldier. Above, the dragons circled once, a brilliant arc of elemental fire, frost, wind, light, and shadow across the sky. Then, with one final roar that shook the clouds, they ascended, disappearing toward the horizon. Their presence had saved the day, but their departure was a reminder. Darkness would return, and the kingdom had only survived, not conquered it. Mix looked across the battlefield, feeling the weight of victory and the shadow of future battles. Clara placed a hand on his shoulder, her eyes steady. "We've won today, but this is only the beginning." He nodded, eyes fixed on the horizon where the sun began to rise. "Let them come. We are ready." And now, we know the dragons fight with us. The Great War had ended, for now. But in the hearts of all who survived, the knowledge of the Black Clan's dark return was etched forever. And with the 5 elemental dragons watching from above, the kingdom, united with elves and dwarves, had a fighting chance against the darkness that still threatened the world.